Here's the shocking truth. Your brain is the command center for everything: your thoughts, emotions, movements, even how you see yourself. And when it starts to malfunction, the signs can sneak in so quietly that you don't recognize them until it's too late. Think about it. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly forgotten why you went there? That happens to everyone. But what if you start forgetting entire conversations or struggle to remember things you've always known? What if your decision-making changes so much that friends say, "You're not acting like yourself"? Or what if sudden, strange mood swings start controlling your life? The scariest part is this: these are often early indicators of something deeper, from vitamin deficiencies to stress overload to early dementia or other neurological problems. The good news? If you spot these warning signs early, you can actually take action before things spiral out of control. In this video, we're breaking down 10 alarming signs your brain is not working properly. Some of them might sound familiar, others will surprise you, but every single one is worth paying attention to. By the end, you'll know which symptoms to take seriously and what they might mean for your brain health. So, let's start with the first sign, and trust me, this one is something you've probably experienced before, but never thought of as dangerous. Sign 1: forgetfulness that feels off. We all forget things sometimes. You misplace your keys, or you can't remember what you had for dinner last Tuesday. That's normal. Our brains are constantly processing so much information that a little forgetfulness is part of being human. But there's a big difference between ordinary memory slips and forgetfulness that feels off. Imagine this. You're in the middle of a conversation and later you can't remember it ever happening. Or you suddenly struggle to recall the name of a close friend or a familiar place. That kind of memory gap isn't just being forgetful, it's a sign your brain may be struggling. Here's why this matters. Memory is one of the brain's core functions. When short-term memory or recall starts breaking down in unusual ways, it can point to issues like chronic stress, sleep deprivation, nutritional deficiencies, or in more serious cases, the early stages of cognitive decline. The takeaway? If you catch yourself forgetting more than just small details, if you're losing big chunks of conversations, tasks, or long-held knowledge, don't ignore it. Your brain is telling you something important. And the next sign? It's one you might blame on being distracted, but it goes much deeper than that. Sign 2: trouble focusing. Have you ever sat down to work, and no matter how hard you tried, your brain just refused to cooperate? You read the same sentence 5 times, but nothing sticks. You try to finish a simple task, and somehow an hour passes without progress. That's more than just distraction. That's your brain waving another warning sign. Focus is like your brain's spotlight. When it's strong, you can direct your attention where you want it and filter out the noise. But when your focus collapses, it feels like your mind is stuck in a fog, jumping from thought to thought without control. Sure, everyone gets distracted once in a while. But if you constantly feel like you can't concentrate, even on things you care about, it may be linked to deeper problems: chronic stress, hormonal imbalances, nutritional deficiencies, or early neurological changes. It's like your brain is running on low battery, and instead of recharging, the battery keeps draining. So if staying focused feels almost impossible, don't just blame it on laziness or scrolling TikTok too much. Your brain might be trying to tell you that something bigger is going on. And the next sign? It's something you'd probably never connect to brain health, but it shows up every single day. Sign 3: constant fatigue. You probably think of fatigue as just being tired. But constant exhaustion, the kind that doesn't go away with a good night's sleep, can be a huge red flag that your brain isn't functioning properly. Here's the science. Your brain is one of the hungriest organs in your body. It uses about 20% of your energy even when you're just sitting still. So if your brain is overworked, inflamed, or struggling with chemical imbalances, you'll feel it as crushing fatigue. This isn't the same as being tired after a late night. This is the kind of exhaustion where even simple tasks feel overwhelming. You wake up drained, you drag yourself through the day, and no amount of coffee seems to fix it. That's because the problem isn't just in your body, it's in your brain's ability to regulate energy. Chronic brain-related fatigue can be tied to sleep disorders, nutritional gaps, mood disorders, or neurological conditions. And ignoring it doesn't make it better. So if you feel tired all the time for no clear reason, don't just push through. Your brain could be signaling that it's running on empty. And the next sign, it hides in plain sight, showing up not in your energy, but in your emotions. Sign 4. Sudden mood swings. One moment you're fine, the next you're snapping at someone for no reason, or you're suddenly overwhelmed with sadness that seems to come out of nowhere. Occasional ups and downs are part of life, but rapid, unexplained mood swings can be a serious warning sign that your brain isn't working the way it should. Your brain controls emotions through a delicate balance of chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. When that balance is disrupted, your feelings can swing wildly without warning. It's not just being emotional, it can mean your brain is struggling to regulate itself. Think about it. Do you ever feel like you're losing control of how you react, or that your emotions don't really match the situation you're in? If those shifts happen often, it's worth paying attention. Sudden irritability, unprovoked anger, or unexplained waves of sadness can all point to deeper neurological or hormonal changes. The truth is, mood swings are often overlooked because they get blamed on stress or personality. But when they're out of character or happening too often, they could be your brain signaling something much bigger. And the next sign? It doesn't hit your feelings. It hits your words, and it can be surprisingly scary. Sign 5. Struggling to find words. We've all had those tip-of-the-tongue moments when a word is right there in your mind but just won't come out. That's normal. But if you're struggling to find words regularly, especially simple or familiar ones, it could be a sign that your brain's language centers are under stress. Language is one of the most complex things your brain does. It requires memory, focus, and coordination across different regions of the brain. When those connections weaken, you may start noticing gaps like replacing words with vague phrases, pausing mid-sentence because you can't recall the right term, or mixing up names you've always known. Here's why it matters. Word-finding problems can be caused by stress, fatigue, or even multitasking overload. But if it happens too often, it might point to deeper issues like nutrient deficiencies, neurological disorders, or early signs of cognitive decline. So if you notice yourself struggling to express thoughts that used to come easily, don't brush it off as just aging or being tired. Your brain could be signaling that something isn't right. And the next sign? It goes beyond memory and language. It shows up in the choices you make every day. Sign 6. Poor decision-making. Have you ever made a choice and later thought, why on earth did I do that? Everyone makes mistakes, but when poor decisions become a pattern, it can be more than bad luck. It can be a sign that your brain's executive function is struggling. Executive function is like your brain's CEO. It handles planning, judgment, and self-control. When this system weakens, you might find yourself taking unnecessary risks, overspending, procrastinating on critical tasks, or making impulsive choices that feel out of character. The scary part? You may not even notice it at first. To you, the decisions seem fine in the moment. But over time, the consequences pile up: strained relationships, financial trouble, or reckless behavior that feels unlike you. Poor decision-making can stem from stress overload, sleep deprivation, or even conditions that affect the frontal lobes of the brain. So if you notice yourself consistently making choices you regret, especially if loved ones point it out, don't ignore it. Your brain might be trying to tell you it's in trouble. And the next sign? It shows up not in your thoughts or choices, but in how your body moves. Sign 7. Loss of coordination. Tripping over your own feet once in a while is normal. But if you suddenly find yourself bumping into things, stumbling more often, or struggling with balance in situations that never used to bother you, your brain might be sending you a serious warning. Coordination is not just about your muscles, it's about how your brain communicates with your body. The cerebellum and other brain regions act like a control tower, guiding every step, every movement, and every reflex. When those systems misfire, your body shows it. Shaky hands, clumsy movements, or difficulty performing tasks that once felt automatic. This isn't just about embarrassment. Loss of coordination can be linked to neurological conditions, early signs of diseases like multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's, or even the aftermath of mini-strokes that often go unnoticed. If you start noticing frequent clumsiness, balance problems, or sudden changes in how smoothly you move, it's not something to laugh off. Your brain may be struggling to keep control over your motor functions. And the next sign? It doesn't affect your movements. It alters how you experience the world through your senses. Sign 8. Sensory disturbances. When we think of brain problems, most people imagine memory loss or confusion. But one of the most overlooked signs shows up in your senses: how you see, hear, or even smell the world around you. Your brain is the control center that processes all sensory input. So when it starts to malfunction, your senses can distort in surprising ways. Maybe you notice blurred or double vision. Maybe sounds feel muffled, or you suddenly hear ringing in your ears. Some people even report smelling odors that aren't there, like smoke, gas, or chemicals, when nothing is actually around. These strange experiences are more than just quirks. They can point to neurological stress, migraines, seizures, or in rare cases, early signs of degenerative brain conditions. Your brain isn't just misinterpreting information, it's failing to process it correctly. And because senses are so tied to daily life, people often dismiss these changes as just getting older. But sudden or repeated sensory problems are not normal. They're a clue that your brain might be struggling. And the next sign? It often shows up when the lights go out, hidden in the way your brain handles sleep. Sign 9. Sleep disturbances. Sleep isn't just rest. It's when your brain cleans and repairs itself. While you're dreaming, your brain is literally flushing out toxins, storing memories, and recharging its circuits. That's why sleep problems can be one of the clearest red flags that your brain is in trouble. Insomnia is the obvious one, lying in bed for hours unable to fall asleep. But brain-related sleep disturbances go deeper. Some people fall asleep easily, but wake up multiple times, never reaching deep, restorative sleep. Others experience vivid nightmares, restless movements, or even acting out their dreams, all of which point to disruptions in how the brain regulates sleep cycles. The consequences? If your brain isn't repairing itself at night, you wake up groggy, unfocused, and irritable. Over time, chronic poor sleep can damage memory, weaken emotional control, and increase the risk of serious neurological disorders like dementia. So if your nights are filled with restlessness instead of restoration, it may not just be bad sleep habits. It could be your brain waving a giant red flag. And the final sign? It doesn't affect your sleep or your senses. It changes who you are as a person. Sign 10. Personality shifts. This is one of the most unsettling brain warning signs because it changes how the world sees you. When your personality begins to shift in ways that feel off, it can be a clear indicator that your brain isn't functioning properly. We all grow and change over time, but sudden, drastic differences in how you think, act, or relate to people can be alarming. Maybe someone who was once outgoing becomes withdrawn and apathetic. Or a usually calm person suddenly develops bursts of aggression. These aren't just quirks, they can be signs that the brain regions controlling behavior, emotions, and social awareness are under stress. Neurological conditions, hormonal imbalances, and even chronic stress can all trigger personality changes. But when they appear suddenly and dramatically, they're worth taking seriously. Friends and family often notice them first, saying things like, "You're just not yourself lately." That outside perspective can be a critical clue. If your personality feels like it's shifting in ways you can't explain, don't dismiss it. Your brain may be signaling that it's in distress. And now that we've covered all 10 signs, let's bring everything together with a powerful conclusion you won't want to miss. So let's quickly recap. The brain doesn't just shut down one day out of nowhere, it sends warning signals first. And those signals are easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Forgetfulness that feels unusual. Trouble focusing, constant fatigue, sudden mood swings, struggling to find words, poor decision-making, loss of coordination, sensory disturbances, sleep problems, and finally personality shifts. One or two of these signs once in a while might just be stress or a bad day. But if you're noticing several of them happening regularly, That's when it's time to stop ignoring and start listening. Your brain is literally asking for help. Here's the good news. Catching these signs early can make a massive difference. Many brain-related problems can be improved, sometimes even reversed, with better sleep, proper nutrition, stress management, or medical treatment. The earlier you act, the better chance you give your brain to heal and protect itself long-term. Your brain is the most important organ you have. It controls everything about who you are, your memories, your choices, your emotions, your relationships. Take care of it and it will take care of you. And if this video opened your eyes, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, and hit the subscribe button on the channel for more content that helps you understand your body and mind. Trust me, your brain will thank you.